In this video, I want to talk about my personal strategy to automate personalized follow-ups to every single one of your leads using Zoho campaigns. By the way, if we haven't met yet, my name is Emmanuel. I am the founder and kind of chief talking head guy here over at Square One Group. Really, our mission is simple. We want to help solopreneurs grow and scale their business using systems. Now, this topic very near and dear to my heart because hey, let's face it, we all need to grow our businesses, myself included. I remember when I was starting off, I knew that I needed to create more sales. I needed to acquire more clients. And through that process, I knew I had to commit to running paid advertising. Now, after several $1,000s spent and several months, heck, maybe, I think this probably took me over a year to figure this out. It sounds completely like a no-brainer to most people, but for me, it hit me like a ton of bricks. It's that most leads do not immediately become customers. They need to be nurtured. Duh. Well, anyways, it took me a while to figure it out. When I finally figured this out, I knew that I needed to create systems to help nurture these people, especially if I'm bringing in a boatload of the leads at scale. Like having to call every single lead up if I'm bringing in thousands of leads every single month, very difficult to do, especially if you are a solopreneur, a company of one. So what I want to break down for you today is essentially the system that I use, and it's the exact same system that I've helped a lot of my clients install into their businesses to help create a personalized touch to all of their leads that they're capturing using advertising. But in addition to that, I want to show you how to automate this process so that it seems a little bit more genuine. And hopefully you can get some people to respond and, become clients. Okay, now before we get into the good stuff of how to set up all of these automations, what I first want to kind of review with you is kind of just the basic rule of thumb when it comes to lead generation and how the numbers work. Now, there's this basic idea. It's called the rule of 100. And the idea here is that for every 100 leads that you capture, typically this is how the numbers break down. You have about 90% of those people being considered unqualified, leaving the remaining 10%. And typically this is how the 10% break down. It's 85% of those people are considered later people. And later people are defined as complete strangers that don't know who the heck you are. They eventually become customers and then clients. And this takes anywhere from 90 days to, let's say, 3+ years, leaving the remaining 15% of people as the now people. Now, interestingly enough, when I started running ads and when I was in dire need of customers, I would primarily focus on the now people. But the truth of the matter is, for every 100 leads I captured, I maybe got lucky and got one appointment just because I was basing it off of these numbers that I did not know at the time that I'm presenting it to you now because I know these now. So I want to help you out as much as possible. So having said that, the goal here is that we need to create systems that focus on the later people. Get the leads, capture them, nurture them for a little while, and eventually they become warm and then hot, and then, hey, guess what? They become customers. All right, now having said that, what I want to do now is I want to take you into Zoho campaigns. Now, this is the application that I used. Look, I know there's a lot of different applications out there like Go High Level and Salesforce. They're all really expensive. I found that if we're really trying to bootstrap a business, Zoho seems to be one of the more inexpensive sources. So I like to use Zoho campaigns. I like to recommend it to all of my clients. And if you're interested in utilizing Zoho campaigns for yourself to kind of follow along and kick off like this whole journey of automation, then in this video on the description below, you'll find a link for a free 30-day trial of Zoho campaigns. Go ahead and click it and give it a shot. Follow along with the automation I'm about to set up with you now. Okay, so here's a quick glimpse of how the dashboard looks like once we're getting going. Now, disregard everything you're seeing here. This is all dummy data, but the most important thing is that I want to help you get set up for your Zoho campaign so you could set up these automations when new leads come in. And it all starts by setting up segments for your contacts or for your leads. By the way, quick side note here. Actually, step one isn't setting up segments. Step one is actually importing all of the leads. So there's a number of different ways that you can do this. You can set up a Zap to automatically automate or inject these leads into the CRM, or you can manually upload these leads. Maybe you can upload them via a spreadsheet. Hey, at the end of the day, there's a bunch of different ways to upload leads into your Zoho campaigns. I'm not going to go into detail about how to do that in this video because that's a whole other conversation. But if you are interested in maybe getting some help setting up or importing some contacts and leads or automating that process into your Zoho campaigns, in the comment section, can you comment the words automate leads, and it lets me know, like, it's an indicator that I should probably make a video on that. Anyways, I digress. The first place we want to go to with regards to getting this whole system set up is over into the contacts area and then hit segments. Now, disregard all the stuff that you're seeing here. There's really 3 main segments that we want to create for our leads. The first one is the new prospect segment. The second segment is the prospect MFU. Now, we call it MFU here, which stands for master follow-up, which is like an automated follow-up, essentially what we're creating today. And then after we do this initial follow-up of automations, the next step is that we want to set them into a lifetime nurture sequence. So that's what we have here, prospecting lifetime nurture. Okay, now let's take a deep dive into these segments because we have to set it up so that they're filtering the right types of contacts. And so let's first start off with the prospect MFU segment. So we essentially want to only filter prospects that are tagged with the tags, or that filter with the tags MFU, master follow-up, all right? And then from there, the next segment that we're going to be creating is a segment specifically for lifetime nurture. And as you can see here, it's a segment that I call it warming. You can call it anything that you like. You can call it lifetime nurture, but you're going to want to create a segment just for that. And then the last segment that we want to create is the initial segment, the one for the brand new leads. And the easy way to do that is simply creating a segment that's tagged isn't warming, isn't MFU, isn't an active client, is not or isn't any of the other tags that we've just created. That way, this is essentially assigned to the Zoho CRM that whenever a new lead comes in and they don't have any tags, these are probably new leads. So we're going to leave them as new leads, and then we're going to tag and filter as we go. All right, at this point, you might be wondering, like, what's a master follow-up? I've never heard that term before. It's foreign to me. I'm just going to put MFU. Sounds like a bad word. Anyway, let me explain it to you real quick. If we go back to this diagram here, we have the now people and the later people. The idea here behind this is real simple. We might not have some people that are ready to work with us right at this moment, but they do need some warming up. And we want to try to warm them up as much as possible without actually having to physically warm them up or give them a call. So when we talk about the MFU or the master follow-up, the idea here is that we want to send an email sequence that's going to warm them up and hopefully make them red hot and want to reply to this email and hopefully convert into a customer. And the way that we do this is by sending 8 emails over the next 14 days. And this is typically what the cadence looks like for those emails. It starts with this. If this is day 1, we're going to send out the first initial email. Day 2, we're going to send out an email. Day 3, nothing. 4 and 5, we're going to send out emails. 6 and 7, crickets. 8 and 9, some more emails. 10, we'll give them a pause. 11, another email. 12, nothing. 13, nothing. And then 14, we'll send out a final email. Now, you might be wondering, well, what the heck do I write in these emails? Well, it's real simple. I'm going to break it down for you right now. In email number 1, I'm going to tell you right now, this is the email that is going to be guaranteed to be open. So we kind of want to show them the store, let them know about everything that we can do in terms of providing value and really helping our ideal customers solve their problem. So email number 1, I'm going to say it kind of really briefly, but you kind of get the idea of what I just mentioned. We're going to show the store. Give them a full-blown menu of exactly what we do, how we help people out. And then from there, the next step, email number 2, this is essentially going to be an email that's going to handle the most common objection that you hear in any sales conversation. What do you typically hear? Is it a money problem? Is it a time problem? Is it a partner problem? Whatever it is, you're going to cover the most common objection. We'll call this objection number 1. And the idea behind this is real simple. If we jump into a conversation and there's a bunch of sales objections, it's going to take a very long time to try to handle all those objections. But if we can handle them systematically, programmatically through these email drip sequences, then hey, we're going to jump into the sales call with a lot of these objections already handled. So it'll be much easier to close. All right, email number 3, we're simply going to ask. We're going to ask a question. It's a simple 5 to 9 word question that's really designed to do one thing: incite a response. We're not going to provide value. We're not going to do all this funny stuff, but we just want to put the message out there that, hey, I have a question. I would love an answer for you. And then from there, we can start a conversation. The next email, what we want to do is we want to present a case study. That way we can show social proof about who we are and what we do. So tell a really great story. Next email, we're going to do another objection handle. Next email, let's do another ask. Then the next email, we'll do a third objection handle. And then the last email, let's go ahead and give them some next steps if they didn't take any action. Now, next steps typically come in the form of just, hey, drop your social media, ask for a follow, hey, shoot me a subscribe, just something easily like that so that they can stay in contact with you, or if they're really enjoying your stuff, they'll be able to find you pretty quickly and pretty conveniently. All right, now that we're done with this, the next step is that we want to go ahead and create the actual automation sequence. So inside of your Zoho campaigns on the left side, you'll see a button here called automation. Go ahead and click on that. And I'm going to take you through one of mine, and you can kind of just copy and follow along. But the process is real simple. We're going to set up a couple tags, then we're going to write some emails, and then we're going to remove some tags and set up some more tags. By the way, if you found value in this video so far, and if it's really making sense to you, love if you can hit that like button, subscribe button, bell icon, all that fun stuff. Appreciate it. Thank you so much in advance. Okay, so let's get this process started. The plan here is simple. I'm not going to get into the nitty gritty of creating an email. I'm pretty sure you can figure this out yourself. It's a pretty intuitive system, but I just want to give you the logic behind this. So the first step is that we are going to enter all of our new leads into our segment that we created called New Prospect, which has no tags in it. Now, if you remember, it was the one that said it wasn't MFU, wasn't lifetime nurture, wasn't a client, that whole one. In any case, when you upload brand new leads into your Zoho campaigns, or maybe you're automating them in through like a Zap or something, they're not going to have any tags. So step one is we're going to want to add a tag. And this particular tag is going to be called the MFU tag, which stands for Master Follow-Up. And from there, in my world, what I actually like to do is I like to wait a day before actually sending out a message. So this is essentially what my initial sequence would look like. Wait a day, we'll send out a message, wait another day, send out another message, wait another day, send out a message, so on and so forth, until we get through all of the emails that we had created, the 8 emails over 14 days. And then when we get to the very bottom, essentially what we're going to do is we're going to create another automation here, which is going to remove the MFU tag, and then we're going to assign a new tag called warming. And the idea behind that is once we have removed them from this initial 8 emails over 14 days automation, and they get into the warming sequence, then we can just send them random sporadic emails from there, just keeping in contact with them, staying in touch with them, and hopefully getting them to respond over any given amount of time. Essentially focusing on the later people at this point and trying to get them to raise their hands. Anyways, I hope you found a ton of value in this video. And if you enjoyed this video, then you might actually enjoy this video over here.